Hey everybody!
Well, we are back.
We are back. We've just been for a lovely date night dinner. We just stuffed ourselves with seafood from Sea and Shore, a really great restaurant, but also just around the block. Unfortunately, the rain is meaning we have to use a car to go around the block.
First world problems, I guess.
I know. So we are. I'm so full.
And you moved to
This dress looks like that, but it's not. Anyway, so tonight's topic is who would you go to dinner with? And we were like, that's really awesome because we just had dinner. So
yeah. So your top pick of 3 people you would
dead or
go to
alive,
dinner
who
with.
you would go to dinner with?
Do you want to start? You want me to?
I can go. So you're going to go more into one of mine though, because it's like even more for yours, but my reason. Anyway, so our top 3, my top 3 would be Buddha. Because to be honest, my whole life, Buddhism was the only religion, faith, belief system that I actually ever really kind of matched with and understood and kind of felt was more of my style. I grew up with my grandparents, I believe they were Seventh-day Adventists. And I thought that was awesome because every Sunday I got to go for cake. And we got to draw things and stuff. So I was never really, my mother and father were not much about religion. But my grandparents were. But what I then grew up with throughout my childhood was the understanding of religion and how it works, and hearing all as a kid about all the wars and all the chaos and stuff. And I was like, so everything to do with the religion is say hello to everyone as you come on. Everything to do with religion seems to be about wars, and it seems to be this whole like full-on thing. But when I looked at Buddhism, funnily enough, my dad's a musician, and so we would go up and do Woodford Folk Festival, and I really loved it because a group that he played with was a family of Sikhs. And so Sikh is a little different to Buddhism, a little, not much, a little different. And but they spoke so beautifully and so humbly about how it was all about love and acceptance and knowing your choices in life and understanding your power and understanding what your impact was on the world, but choosing a more enlightened, more balanced, more loving way of doing life. And so I was always so drawn to the fact that Buddhism was just, it seemed the people were so happy. It seemed that everything was about fairness. Everything was about your own contribution, your own imprint, your own love, your own ability to show up for who you were and stand for who you were and what you were here to do in the world. So that really meant a lot to me as a kid, and I found this beauty and freedom within Buddhism. And then I got to learn more about yoga, and I got to learn a lot more about mindfulness, and I was like, this makes so much sense to me. So I would say one of my 3 would be Buddha. The other would be Joe Dispenza. Now Joe Dispenza does a lot of work on the mind, the body, epigenetics, and how they're all interlinked. I'm just going to keep waving to people, and how they're all interlinked. And so I found that Joe Dispenza, I would love to have the most epic conversation with that gentleman and just talk about all things humans and genetics. It would just be delicious. I think he's an incredible mind that I'd love to hear more. And my 3rd person would be Jim Carrey. Now, that man is so underrated. He is the most craziest, quirkiest, over-exuberant, outgoing, yet the most saddest human I've ever met, or ever heard of, ever discovered. And I would love to sit with Jim Carrey because he does do a lot of work on life and mind and the world and
going deeper.
Jim Carrey has done some beautiful work in some schools and so much. There's so much that hasn't even been released really of what Jim Carrey's done. And I think that he's a man that has yet to be discovered for his true greatness, to be honest. But also, Ace Ventura, how can you not? How can you not love a man who can sit there and so wholeheartedly give every part of himself to what he's currently doing? So much so that, I mean, in the movie world, we see so many actors that go to drugs, that go to substance uses, that go to the dark depths of their soul because they spend so much time in a persona that is not their own, in a behaviorism, a belief. They have to get so much in touch with that part that they are playing that they can have so much potential to lose themselves. And for that, someone like Jim Carrey would be absolutely fascinating with Buddha and with Joe Dispenza.
Perfect. Mine's similar, and before I go into it, it's hard to pick three. And
It's so hard.
The reason being, if it's only three, if it was more, I would definitely love to have people that don't just agree and support my way of thinking. I would want people to be absolute polar opposites. I would want people to challenge. So that's where the best growth actually comes from for me, is when things that are completely against what I used to believe in such, because I try not to believe anything anymore. I don't feel like we have a need to believe anything. There's enough truth and there's enough time to continue the search for truth.
And we're all humans having our own human
Perfect.
experience.
So that this was difficult because, again, I would definitely like to be challenged. That being said, three of our most people that I would like to, and yeah, definitely Buddha. I obviously wasn't around in the times when he was, but from his legacy and from his teachings and from his qualities that he's left behind, I've already learnt a lot. When I first travelled to India, it challenged me well and truly outside of anything that I could have ever imagined. I came from a very Christian home of a Christian upbringing, went to church a lot, did all of those things. I don't necessarily think I loved every moment of it. But I came from this space where that was what you did. You went to church, you went to these things. So when I went to India, it was so out of my comfort zone. You was completely immersed in, wasn't necessarily the religion, but the way of life and the opportunity to see things from a different angle. And it challenged in that time what I believed very strongly. And from what I can see now is, I'm not saying that I'm on the right path exactly now or that I'm even right, but what I was doing was definitely wrong for me. So the way that I could see it, my upbringing for me, there's no target, there's no trigger or attack there, but for my life was wrong. I was trying to be someone I'm not, and the Buddhism and that's in India, strongly in India, definitely impacted that. So sitting down with someone like Sanara Gwadam would definitely be an eye-opening and a chance to really settle back deep and understand further and go deeper. The next one would be Osho. Osho is another one of the Indian mystics. He's a religious guide. I won't say a leader. He definitely, and he states this well and truly, the same as all of them have. They do not want to be leaders and they do not want followers. Jesus said the same thing. We want to give you experience and help you understand through your own experience and lead you to the truth, point you in the right direction for you, the truth. Osho is very, very outspoken. I'm reading a book right now and I'm very slow with it, but it's called Christianity, the Deadliest Poison, and Zen, the Antidote to All Poisons. This book is so challenging because there's a whole lot of points in there that are against anything any of us have ever heard. And there's some points in this book that is even mentioned that an atheist and a Christian are exactly the same people. They're both believers of something that they don't know the truth to. What is wrong with us to consistently have to say we believe, or put that perspective in where we could just say, to be honest, I want to know more, I'm open to learning more, rather than coming at something with a closed mind. So I think Osho, and a lot of the stuff, he's very outspoken, but he's done a whole lot of humanitarian work, and he is, I would say, a very, very present human. And I mean, no one has ever got any of this stuff right. We're only learning, we're only changing. But the perspective between Buddha and Osho would be an absolute amazing perspective. The third person that I would love to have there with me, and I actually get the privilege of this one a little bit often, is this beautiful woman beside me. And the reason I say that is, first of all, I'm a little bit slow. So I need to be able to, did you hear that? What was said? I need to be able to, if I couldn't record it, I need this girl with me to have that experience at the same time, but also to be able to digest it and to come back with your beautiful mind and deconstruct it, decompress, and go, did I hear this right? Does that make sense to you when you're going like this? When I was challenged this way, and absolutely be able to dissect it, knowing now from a little message that I had last week, I hope you're watching out there, Timmy B, is that not everything is to be understood as well. Not everything we do has to be understood. And some of the things we're doing, we're just not quite ready for. But Sharna gives me the opportunity to understand, to look from a different perspective, and there's some things that we do, we say, we go, oh, I didn't look at it in that angle. So
we challenge each other, I think. We never fully agree. We always give a full perspective, and both of us have lived such colourful lives to this point where anything fresh like that kind of an experience with our knowledge, as we both have a different filter, which is why to have the both of us in the same room would be incredible.
Yeah, I think the way Sharna and I are on a very, very similar path, or the trajectory of the path, or the way we're doing our life, and it seems to work just beautifully for us because we're both open-minded. And I like to say open-minded, but I know I'm still closed-minded a little bit, and there's very, very few people on this planet that are completely open-minded, because at some stage, at some level, we have a belief. And it's very easy to see if somebody's open or closed-minded. Just challenge that belief and just wait for the tirade that comes after it. If it feels like an attack, if you feel attacked in any way, that's because you're not open-minded. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter what it is. It's not that you're not open-minded. There's a point of open-mindedness
There's a kink in your belief system, to be honest. Well, it usually signifies a kink, and I had it forever in epigenetics. Forever. And that's why the last 8 months I've kind of backed off on a lot of it, because I realised that even I had kinks in my own system that I felt I had to justify. Right? And we've all done that. We've all done that point of justifying our truth and our belief, because how dare someone else challenge us? Where it's more like the learning there is like, no one's ever going to really believe, like, no one has to believe you. No one has to understand you. And the beautiful journey is having these beautifully entwined conversations with people that are open and aware and are able for discussion.
Only 2. No, 3. No, 2.
You're so greedy when it comes to sneezes.
Well, I was told what's going to happen when it happens 12 times.
Doesn't happen
So yeah, I think that's a very interesting topic, and we're getting a little bit off topic there, but if we all think we're open-minded, that's probably also a good sign that we might not be if we start to think we are.
Yeah.
But for me, I strive and I want to become more open-minded because the opportunities are endless. The truth is there, and when you see the truth, it can't be disputed. This is essentially what we're all doing, but it's easier to stop looking for the truth and blindly accept. For me, I would love to continue to look for it, and it doesn't mean that I continuously have to be searching and reading, and again, this is a really interesting point. When you are reading, looking for the truth, you're not going to find it. Unfortunately, because that is somebody else's information. That is borrowed information. It is not yours. It is not real. And I said this to a lady at yoga today. If you want to know what truth is, the best way to do it is, if you haven't eaten all day or all yesterday and I said you're hungry, for me that's true because I would be hungry, but it's only true when you experience it.
Yeah. I was about to say, what you said in that was like, that it was true or not true. It's true for the person if the filters to that point are in agreement with that, right? So whether it's true or not, it's not true for everyone. Not everything is never true for everyone all of the time. And this woman you're talking to today, God, that feels like forever ago. She was speaking, and the both of you were speaking about, yes, they had both their components going. And I said, well, it depends on your epigenetic expression, right?
Yeah.
It depends on your biology as to how your filters and how your markers or your goalposts biologically will affect your filtration system for the greater experience.
So I think on that note as well, there's a difference between truth and relative truth. Okay, so there's a relative truth that we experience or that we see, or a perception that happened to us. And then there is the undeniable truth, which is, this isn't a book. You can see it, you can see whatever else it is. We can agree it's a book, but that's relative truth. If you're blind, you don't know this is a book.
Only through habit and conditioning.
However, we all agree 100% of the time that an object exists in space. So when you boil
as a collective.
Every single person, whether you're blind, deaf, whatever it happens to be, will agree that an object exists in space, whether you call it matter, whatever else it is. But the essence is the truth here, that an object exists in space, whether it's a book, whether it's whatever you want to call it, because that's a perception of it. So there's truth and relative truth. We've got on a tangent. But my point with that is, when we come back to this, I want to be challenged. And what I was saying is, not that we have to continuously look for the truth, but be open to it when it comes to you. And I think that's where Sharna gives me this opportunity to understand. With, say, Osho and Buddha in the same situation, they're going to give you more pointers to finding that truth and experiencing it and feeling it for yourself. So that's sort of...
And I think the beauty of that is that both of those beings were teachers. Neither of them wanted to be leaders or to have followers. That's what makes them the most valuable to have in the room, because they are such humble beings. None of them wanted a following. It was the human condition that decided they were worth worshipping and creating a following for. So that's a super big thing for people to remember, is the persons at which are now being worshipped, not generally, unless they're like a massive cult, that's a different thing, but generally the belief systems and religions and whatnot were created by the human condition, not by the god or the being or the entity themselves.
What I've found with all of these, I've done a lot of reading of Buddhism. I've read a lot of Osho's work. I've read a lot of Eckhart Tolle's work. A lot of Sadhguru. Some of these people that are amazing, inspiring people. Everything I've read in the Bible. What they are telling us is to live consciously. They're all teachers of experience the conscious living for yourself. That can look very different for everyone. So, and this is the point. And when it comes back to that, when you're living consciously, you're going to be in a better space. You're going to be more calm. You're going to be more of understanding, more open-minded, doing these things. So to spend a little bit of time with people and steal maybe a little bit of their conscious energy, I feel would be absolutely amazing for me.
Oh, it would be like royalty to me, for sure. So that's it for tonight. I think. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's pretty sort of on topic. It was a very simple subject in a lot of ways.
It's so hard to pick three though. Like, to be honest, like, we're organising a link dinner for the next couple of weeks with some incredible minds that we really want to sit down with and have dinner with and pick their brains on the global society and what's happening and in so many different sectors. We've got like people that have been in so people that have been in some
in the crypto world,
business worlds, massive business worlds, people that are into conspiracy stuff, people that have had the law up against them in a multitude of different misunderstandings. Like, these are the sorts of humans that you want to sit with and just pick their brains about their experience and why they stand for what they stand for.
It's an interesting when you say about people that have had the law brushed against them. Well, we're all going to experience this more and more now. It's important to know some of this stuff, but also to be able to stand in your truth regardless of what that's about. And I had someone say to me recently, "Oh yes, but this is the way you have to do it." And I said simply, "No, you don't have to do this in this way at all. You have the power over your authority. Over your person. No one has the authority over you, and this can go down a full another wormhole, understanding that you are a sovereign being and no one in this country has power over you and can mandate or change or challenge you to do anything in this respect."
But I think it's really about the point that you have a choice. And this is kind of where this wormhole is going, just momentarily for you all, is like we're holding an elite dinner in a couple of weeks because we want to get the minds together of humans that challenge the status quo, that think outside the box, that have had absolute fortune and lost absolute fortune. People who have failed and succeeded repetitively, because they're the humans that are out there actually asking the right questions, exploring, thinking and feeling for themselves.
We said this, I think one of the other lives, maybe even yesterday, was if you want to change and get a better quality of life, if you want to get better at anything, ask better questions. Don't just say, "Oh, why am I not happy?" Don't just ask that question. What is the process and the starting step that will begin to improve my life? Ask better questions. Ask things like, if it doesn't matter what it is, you want to have a better relationship with your partner. what are the little things that I could change in this moment to upgrade our relationship?
How can you own that space? How can you, like, so many, oh God. Okay, so yeah, so many, this is a great tangent we've just come up with because the one they gave us was a short one. But so many clients I've dealt with over these beautiful years, and every one of you is an incredible, beautiful human that I'm so grateful for, to have the experience of your essence. But to see those relationships and understand that so many relationships fail, including my own parents, to have the conversations and ask more about the why of that person. Understand the beliefs, the traumas, the choices, the experiences that led your human in front of you to be this human. And ask them why they think that and what they really want in all things. Whether it be taboo, whether it be simplistic, any of that stuff is a delight. It's like, I don't know, like, we have every right to ask these questions, yet we so often fail to, and then wonder why relationships end and you don't know the human in front of you.
And there's a huge part of this, and we consistently seem to come back to presence and balance. Because if you're more present and you're more aware and more conscious, you'll already be asking those questions. You'll be going, I'm connected enough to see that this isn't going so well for you. Is there something that's going on that I can change? Has there been something? And always, all of the parts of consciousness, first of all, are about owning your own space. Understanding whether you're being the best version that you can be in this moment. Not in the moment that just passed, in this moment. Going, is there something I'm doing right now that is impacting the way you're feeling? Is there a way that I can improve that? And
what
simply,
do you need is another amazing question that relationships don't ask.
There's so many of these questions, and we're going to get on so many tangents.
These can be for another time.
Yeah, I think so. There was one question that I do just think was really interesting I read recently. It was a very simple question to change the state of your relationship is when your partner's upset, ask them whether they want comfort or a solution.
Yeah, everybody should ask that. And I used to say every man should ask that, but we forget so many women have taken on the masculine role, and we as women have forgotten to step down into our feminine and ask the same question.
And I think when it comes to things like that, when you give that opportunity, you don't always have to know what's wrong. Sometimes you're just damn well upset or you're not feeling yourself. But if you say, look, I don't need a solution because I don't actually know what's wrong, maybe a hug would be nice, whatever it happens to be, now you've got an opportunity so the other person's not questioning whether it's something they've done, what it happens to be. If you want a solution, now you've got this. If you want comfort, okay, maybe you're not understanding what's going on. Maybe you've just got a shitty feeling and it's okay to have those. But when the other person's feeling something from a projection or from what you're doing, it's also not so fair on them if you're not communicating that clearly.
Oh, but leave that mic drop there. That's epic.
Well, we were tangentialized. I don't know whether that's a word. Tangented?
I mean, it's beautiful.
Tangented?
Tangented?
I think tangented.
Excellent. Guys, that was an awesome chat. Again, we want to continue these. Like, this challenge has shown us that we love these discussions. And we would always love people to pop comments below these and be like, this is my thing, this is my thought, this is my word, this is my concept. Because we want to do more of this. So if you enjoyed tonight's conversation or any of the other 20 conversations that we've covered so far, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Be awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you all on the flip side.